Well, hello. How are you all today? Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm out relaxing on the deck. Kelly's sitting to my left, putting her makeup on. She loves it when I say stuff like that.
I
I
hate
already
it when
put
you
my
say stuff
makeup
like that.
on, so I'm good to go. Uh, are you living the life that you want to? Are you living the life that you love? That you've always dreamed of? Well, I want to talk about that, and I would venture to say that probably 99% of people are not. Now my wife is, because she always dreamed of being married to someone like me, but so she's covered, right? You hear that giggling? But most people aren't. Uh, we're down here relaxing at the cabin, and I had a short discussion with my two boys. They came out. I was out here on the deck drinking coffee. They came. Oh, before I get to that, I just read that scientists have created a particle of light that simultaneously accesses 37 different dimensions. How about that? How could that possibly be, Steve? Steve don't know. I don't know. I love that stuff. I'm interested in it. But I'll tell you what, it doesn't take me long to get to the extent of my knowledge of it. So I won't try to explain it, but there is a lesson there. And that is that the world, life, the universe, God's great creation holds many more possibilities than we can see, usually from our I don't mean our limited understanding, and our understanding is limited by, what we know about life, what we've done, our current circumstances, and all that. But back to the conversation I had with my sons. They came out here, and I was out relaxing, and I asked them. I said, "What does it do to you? How does it make you all feel, or what does it mean to you when we come down here for a week or whatever, and just to kind of relax and get away from it all?" And they're very thoughtful young men, both of them. And my oldest one said, he says, well, he says it kind of serves to kind of realign him. He likes to get away from the same old stuff all the time. And now he's a very high performing person. He does a lot. He does a lot very well, and he says he just likes it to to relax. And my second son said pretty much the same thing. He's also a very innovative, very thoughtful person. And I said, well, or I asked him, does it make you kind of sit back and review your current life situation and ask yourself, are you satisfied with the life that you're living now, or is there something else that you want? When we expose ourselves to new possibilities, um, it kind of opens up, you know, the panorama of what we might, uh, be. Maybe we don't think about, but we should. And they both says, yeah, it kind of makes me wonder about that. And so I asked him, well, would you? Because we're also we're looking at property, I should say that. And I shot one yesterday. I'm not sure if I might have put it up or not. We were driving around looking at certain properties in this area, and we're kind of thinking about making a move. Who's calling me? I'm doing this on my iPhone, and different things pop up here that I don't understand. Okay, we're good. Uh, and we're not making a decision yet because we love where we live, but there's always other things to do, whether to change what you're doing or to add something to what you're already doing. And so I told them, I said, um, most people, there is a saying: live a life that you don't want a vacation from. And that's hard to do. And what does it take to really do that? Last night, Kelly also is involved in a lot of different things. She's kind of she's not just camera shy, she's talk shy. She doesn't like me talking about the many wonderful things she does, but she does. She's a super sharp, very creative, unbelievably creative, very imaginative, hard worker, and just she does so many things on top of everything else that she does, like taking care of all the kids' schedules and everything like that. And she has started a couple of new businesses recently. And after we got done relaxing here in the cabin, which I really haven't been doing any business, going to do a little bit, going to do some writing, everything like that. She was over at the kitchen table working on the new businesses that she's doing. And that kind of brings, I won't say that she is living her dream life yet, although being married to me, gosh, could she not? But, see, hear that giggle again.
Pleading the fifth.
Huh?
I'm pleading the fifth.
She's
I'm
pleading
kidding. I'm kidding.
She's pleading the fifth. What she really meant was that she can't. she wants to express her gratitude. She wants to express her unbelievable. We were talking about Rush Limbaugh earlier today and how much we miss him. Remember how he used to talk about his glorious naked body. Well, now I don't want you all to get that.
Formerly nicotine.
Formerly nicotine stained fingers. So
talent on loan from God.
Right, talent on loan from God. Well, all talent we have is on loan from God, right? Well, getting back to living a life you don't want a vacation from. I told both of my sons. I says, I'll be honest with you. I pretty much do live a life I don't want a vacation from. I love pretty much everything I do. And I told Kelly this morning, I woke up feeling, and usually when we come down here, I wake up and I go, wow, man, I just love this. And I was missing some of that feeling, and I didn't know why. And I realized later on why. I got up, made my coffee, came out on the deck and all that. And I realized that being here wasn't all that much different than when we're at our house, when we're at home, and because I don't really feel the need to get away as much as we look forward to coming down here. Now, I'm in a fortunate situation in that pretty much everything that I do I love. But many people aren't. I mean, I worked a job for years that I hated. Well, hated, I didn't hate the job. Let me say that I was displeased and irritated with some of the people with whom I had to work. You've all been in that situation. But I told my boys, I said, that is a saying with which I agree. Live a life you don't want a vacation from. Well, how do you do that? Well, you do it by building it. If you all read my books, hang on half a second. I'm shooting this on, I think I might have mentioned this, on my new iPhone, and I don't know where all the buttons are. So let me pause this for just a moment. I'll be right back with you. Okay, I realize this is the perfect opportunity for me to use an example. Have you all read my books? Have you all read the Stonemont series, beginning with this one? I don't have the whole set here at the cabin, but I have this one. If you have, you know that it's a story about a family, a prepared family, who, when everything collapsed as a result of their preparedness, were able to continue living a very good life. And then not just live a good life themselves, but help other people, and then building community and all that. And if you haven't read them, you ought to. 7 books, actually. In answer to a couple of questions I've gotten. Yes, I'm working on the 8th. The first 7 are The Reversion, The Revival, The Renewal, An Appeal to Heaven, The Blessings of Freedom, Hostages to Fortune, and the latest one was On Wings Like Eagles. And yes, some people have asked, I am in the process of writing the 8th one, and there will probably end up being 10 in the Stonemont series, because I'm going to need that money to pull everything together. Those of you who have read the series know it's a very expansive series. It's not just the great lessons of how to prepare for, survive, and rebuild after a total collapse of everything, but it's about life. It's about community. It's about family. It's about morals. It's about building good things. It's about building a life that you don't want a vacation from. That's really what it is. And it's also has all the things about, threats come, and cannibals, and motorcycle gangs, and slavery, and all that stuff in there. But it's also about comparative justice. and building government and the proper form of government, everything, all that. And a lot of lessons in a great story. You'll love the characters. So that turned into kind of a commercial, but that's okay, because if you haven't read them, you really should, and you would love them. And the links are down below. You can get them through Amazon, or you can get them directly from me through our website, stonemont.us. And I love it when you do that, because then I get to sign the books for you and write a little note in there. And Amazon gets them to you fast. I get them to you signed. So, and also, and this is kind of this, when you buy them from the whole set, you can buy a whole set through me. You can't do that through Amazon. And then we send you the Stonemont notebook for free. And we pay all the shipping and everything like that. There's a couple things on the Stonemont notebook that I want to read to you. And I use my notebook a lot. And there are a couple of scriptures that are really helpful when you're wanting to build a life that you love, that you do not want a vacation from. Okay, build the best life. And on the front of the book, right there, is Proverbs 16:3. And I'll tell you, this is one of the secrets to having a life that you love. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. It means commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will succeed. Okay. Now that doesn't mean, Lord, help me to be a success or anything like that. No, it means commit those works. Understand that He is the one that's giving you the ability, whether it be the talent, the time, the whatever, in order to do it, and commit those works to Him, and He will bring success to your endeavors. And on the back, it says, except the Lord build a house, they labor in vain that build it. This is Psalm 127, verse 1. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain. What that means is that you can do everything you want to try to make things work out on your own. But unless the Lord is the one involved in the planning and the execution of these things and the direction of this, and you're following His direction, unless He's involved in it, it's simply not going to work out as well as it would otherwise. So back to building a life that you don't want a vacation from. Just imagine that. I think that a lot of people have a hard time imagining that. And you know, it's because, and I'll tell you, I used to couldn't imagine it. And like I said, we are limited by our understanding and our experience in the world around us. And a lot of people don't pursue a better life because they just don't understand what a better life could be, how they could get better. They don't understand the possibilities, the opportunities out there. When I ask people to sit down and imagine what you would really, really like, what you would love, what is your perfect life? A lot of people just can't even start beginning to explain it. And other people say, well, I'd like this, and I'd like this, and I'd like this, and I'd like this, and I'd really like that. And I said, well, why aren't you doing it? And I get all sorts of answers like, oh, it's just not that easy. Well, I never said it was easy. Okay, I never said it was easy. You look at anybody who has attained the goal that they want, and for some reason, high diving, just, Olympic divers, just came to my mind. I mean, you look at a person who's up there jumping off of a platform 40 meters in the, I have no idea how high their platforms are, but however, it's way up above the water, right? And they're jumping off and they're doing all sorts of twists and flips and somersaults and everything like that, and then they knife into that water, with barely making a ripple, and you go, wow, man, I mean, that is cool. And you know what they tell you? They say, yeah, well, I dedicated my life to it. That is the result. You're seeing the end result of years of hard work and practice and determination and not giving up and having your eye on a goal. You know what your goal is. All right? It's kind of like if you're walking in the woods, and some of you know this, if you're walking in the woods, you're whatever, and you want to get to a certain point. You want to get to that point on the next mountain, okay, or the next hill or whatever. You don't just look up at it and go, okay, that's where I'm going to go. That's where I go. and then just start walking and looking around and looking at the ground and looking all over the place. Because if you do that, you're going to end up not even close to where you want to go. For any number of reasons, for a lot of reasons. You have to go around things, you're going to go over things, under things, whatever, and you're going to push up harder with your strong foot than your weak foot. A lot of people don't realize that. And then you're going to be lost. You're never going to get to that point, because it's not a matter of deciding I want to be up there. It's a matter of keeping your eye on it. The way you get to that point on the next hill or the next mountain is you walk and you keep your eye on that point. And then you get there. But first you have to know that that point exists, right? That location exists. And then you have to say, I can do it. Well, is it going to be hard? Well, yeah, it's going to be hard. A lot of walking, climbing over things, going through brush and across a river, whatever. Well, can you do it? Well, you're not going to do it if you don't want to do it, or not if you're willing to overcome some things that are standing in your way. You have to be able to do that. And then you have to have the determination to do it. And then you know what happens? Then eventually you get there. Eventually you're at that spot and you go, well, look at me, right? And you look back down and you see where you came from. And you know what other people will say? They'll think, look at him up on top of the mountain there. Isn't that great? I bet he's got a great view. And you know what you're looking at? You're looking back and you are seeing every time you got tangled in the brush, and every time you fell in the creek, and every time you tripped over a log, and every time whatever. You are seeing all the hard work. Other people are just seeing the result. And it's the same thing with a life. Now, people can go through, and I will say, for most of my life, I didn't really have a plan. I kind of lived each day, right, for what the day brought. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, Jesus himself said, don't worry about the future, sufficient unto the day are the worries thereof, right? Yeah, but if there's something that you want, there's nothing wrong with wanting a life that you would love to have. God at the center, family next. But, a great life brings a lot of benefits to it that allow you to benefit others. God kind of works that way sometimes. Now, I don't know what God has planned for you. You probably don't either. I'll tell you, most people out there have no idea what God really would love them to have. We go through things, and there's been, I've had many friends, as have you, I'm sure, that have gone through some really tough times. And I've gone through tough times. And you have too, I'm sure. And most of the tough times we've had were as a result of the decisions that we made. Not all. I told you of a neighbor who had a daughter passed last week. But most of the things, the life we're living, for the most part, is the result of the decisions we've made, right? And I can only imagine that God looks at most of us and says, wow, man, I mean, you are really blowing it. I mean, your life may not be a total failure, but you're struggling with this, you're doing with that, you're making decisions that you should. I have a perfect life path for you, and you ain't listening. You're not staying on the path, right? That's so true. What I'm saying is this, is that no matter where you are today, God has a perfect plan for you from this moment. From this moment on. Most of you won't go on that path. Sad to say. Some of you will, hopefully. It all depends on how you think about this. You can go on your own way thinking that your decisions are the best, right? Several scriptures come to mind. My ways are higher than your ways, says the Lord. Some of us, when we're not doing right, we say, yeah, my way is higher than your way, God. We've got it backwards, right? Lean not onto your own understanding, but give yourself over to his direction, and you will build. He will build it, actually, but you will participate in the building of a life you don't want a vacation from. And it's totally within your ability to do it. I don't think that many people will respond to this message. I wished everybody would, because I have to say, I wished everybody could live a life like I am. Now, it doesn't mean that you should do everything that I do. You simply might not enjoy the things that I do, right? You might enjoy the things that I don't enjoy. That's not what it's about. It's a matter of waking up every morning saying, wow, man, wow, what a life the good Lord has given me. And I can't think of a darn thing that I would change. And a lot of people say, well, that's just impossible, and I'm here to tell you it's not. So think about that. What life is it that you really want? What would be your perfect life? Are you living it? What do you need to add to it to get to that point? And just as important, if not more importantly, which applies to most of us, what do you need to get rid of that's keeping you from living that life? And then do it. Just do it. Because life can be a struggle, or life can be great. And I know a lot of people say, well, life is not supposed to be easy. Life is a struggle, and it makes you a man, and it makes... I know. I've heard that stuff. I don't believe that. No. And if you want to take it back to a religious context, did you ever see Jesus in a hurry? Refer to the story of Lazarus. Did you ever see him struggling until the end? In his prayer in Gethsemane? Did he ever tell you to worry? Matter of fact, he said, not worry. Do not worry. Place yourself in his hands. Do what he tells you. And you will not only find a peace that surpasses all understanding. This kind of turned into a sermon, didn't it? I didn't mean it to, it just did. But you will find yourself living a life that you never dreamed of. And what does that have to do with preparedness? That is the ultimate preparedness. We talk about you need spiritual preparedness, right? As well as physical. Well, that's what we're talking about. Then you will have total preparedness. So I hope that this has meant something to a couple of you out there. I hope that you'll go out and do it. People deserve, for the most part, people deserve a better life than they're living, than they have given themselves. So, anyway, I will remind you once again, if you want a story that'll tell you about building a life that you love, the Stonemont series will do it for you if you haven't read it, and anybody who's read it will tell you the same thing. And the links are down below. You can get it through Amazon. They get it to you quick. I get it to you more slowly, but I get it to you signed. You can get it from me through stonemont.us. And live a life that you don't want a vacation from. Okay? Like we always say, we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow, and I can't think of a better way than to live the life that you want to live every day for the rest of your life. Okay? You all have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.